Can someone please tell me what the hell is going on here?
No. The place is full of nothing but blood and death.
This preview is based on IGN's world-exclusive hands-on with the first 5 hours of Resident Evil Village at Capcom's headquarters in Japan. We played mainly on PS5 as well as the PS4 Pro version. Our hands-on with Resident Evil Village starts out quietly. As Ethan Winters, the protagonist of Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, we walk through a snowy landscape in the middle of the night. No action, no cutscenes, but it's already eerie and full of tension. Before long, we arrive at an open point that looks over the village, with the atmospheric Castle Dimitrescu in the background. It felt like an instant classic video game moment, Village's expertly crafted environmental storytelling making an impression right from the start. But the exhilarating action soon follows. While it is a direct sequel to Resident Evil 7, Village's mechanics borrow a lot of ideas from Resident Evil 4, and when equipped with a handgun and a knife, I was able to throw enemies off balance by shooting them in the leg and follow up with a blade, or kick them away after a well-timed block. With limited ammo, I decided to run from my lycan attackers. Lycans are roughly equivalent to the zombies of previous games in the series. I entered a house and blocked the entrance by throwing a shelf in front of the door, another Resi 4 mechanic. Of course, the next moment a lycan pried open the door and proceeded to throw me to the floor. Once the lycans finally left me alone, the gameplay became more puzzle-centric, preventing the otherwise seamless route to the castle from being too easy. Village's early puzzles feel like any classic Resident Evil game, except that here you'll have to interact with the villagers in order to solve them. The village is dotted with small secrets, and there were plenty of directions I could have headed, and I also could have happily spent more time exploring. But Castle Dimitrescu was waiting. After some horrific detours, I finally made it inside the castle, ruled by the internet's favourite 9'6" giantess, Lady Dimitrescu, and her 3 bloodthirsty daughters. Ethan is brutally tortured by the 4 dominant women in a cutscene the moment he enters the castle, which makes the premise of a relatively weak man hunted by much stronger women clear right away. Wherever you go in the castle, Lady Dimitrescu or one of her daughters is always nearby, patrolling the premises in real time. Lady Dimitrescu lets out an elegant laugh whenever she notices Ethan, and seeing her slowly walk towards you leaves a lasting impression. You'll have to consider her long reach when evading attacks, and if you're backed into a corner, her size makes it difficult to find a way out. In one section, you have to lure her to different corridors to get around her for just long enough to open a door before she eviscerates you. I love how Capcom has found ways to make Lady Dimitrescu's height so much more than just a visual spectacle. Before even thinking of finding a way to face Lady Dimitrescu, you'll have to deal with her 3 daughters, who are much more agile and elusive, creating an entirely different fright. Each daughter has a particular common weakness, but the varied situations in which you fight them result in mini-boss battles that all play out differently. This design philosophy reminded me of a Zelda dungeon that has the player solve different puzzles with the same item.
Mother, I bring you fresh prey.
By solving puzzles, which are pleasingly old school if not too difficult, I gradually gained more access to different areas of the castle. For just one area in a bigger game, Castle Dimitrescu feels surprisingly expansive, and getting lost was always more fun than frustrating. Evading specific recurring enemies while solving puzzles reminded me of the Baker family in Resident Evil 7. However, with Village's much more over-the-top setting and literally larger-than-life characters, I never had the feeling that I was simply repeating that experience. And Castle Dimitrescu has more to offer than just Lady Dimitrescu and her daughters. Certain parts of this area have you fight against a large number of enemies, resulting in an action-packed experience that felt closer to Resident Evil 4 than to 7. Enemy types vary depending on the location, such as flying creatures in a rooftop area, and I was forced to adapt my playstyle along the way. And don't ask why, but Weapon Merchant Duke has a convenient room on the first floor. You'll be coming back to Duke to buy ammo and upgrade your weapons again and again, another aspect that feels similar to Resident Evil 4. And I loved his character design. After being relentlessly hounded by Lady Dimitrescu and her daughters, I felt a sense of relief every time I saw his jolly face. Duke proves that there is more to Village's character design than just the super memeable Lady D. While 2005's Resident Evil 4 revitalized both the Resi series and the modern third-person shooter, for some fans the action-packed gameplay was a step away from the survival horror experience they had come to love. What makes Castle Dimitrescu so remarkable is that it manages to deliver Resident Evil 4's action and Resident Evil 7's dedication to survival horror in one package. One moment you are running helplessly from a giant mistress, the next moment you are blasting away with your shotgun at a multitude of smaller enemies. We spent close to 4 hours inside Castle Dimitrescu, which is only one chapter in a much larger game. If the rest is as diverse and robust as Castle Dimitrescu, Village might just become a new favourite for Resident Evil fans of all stripes. Resident Evil Village is set to release on May 7th. For more Village, check out our PS4 Pro gameplay footage, catch up on Capcom's latest showcase, and look out for more throughout April from IGN First.